We are gonna we're gonna look at writing algebraic expressions. So we're gonna start looking at some algebra, and algebra really is a way of thinking. They call it algebra when you use these symbols. But so, did you know about the crickets? They're located on the front legs. That's where the ears are. Kind of weird. I didn't know that. This is a cricket. The ears of a cricket are located on the front legs just below the knee. Well, I guess that would be the knee, so the ears are right there. Kind of interesting. That's interesting, I think. Okay, I gave you a handout, and it talks about writing algebraic expressions, and you have some vocabulary. You got to know the vocabulary. Variables usually are letters, and usually we use X, but it doesn't have to be X. It could be a star, or a circle, a smiley face. It doesn't matter. So you could have a little star, and that could stand for something, stand for a number. And you have a little handout here. So you might want to say variables are letters, or letters of variable. They represent numbers. That's the big thing. An algebraic expression is variables used with operations. It is a phrase. It is not a sentence. So when I look at x plus 5, for instance, there's really no room to write on here. Let me just add a page. So if I look at x plus 5, that's an expression, an algebraic expression. And what does that mean? It says, if I want to put it in English, Jane, this means take a number, any number. I may tell you what number it is, and then do what? What are we going to do with that number? Add 5. So if you think about what's happening, it's not too bad. Okay, so x represents a number. If I had 2 plus 5, you would say, oh, I can add that. That's 7. It's not a sentence, it's a phrase. You can simplify. You are not solving. Simplify is exactly the way it sounds. 2 plus 5 is complicated. If I may add it, I get 7. That's much simpler. Okay? So that's what you mean by simplify. Make it simpler. You're not solving. There's no equal sign. That's important to realize. And these are algebraic expressions because now we're not going to use 2. We're going to put in x. And I like it even better with x because I don't have to know any arithmetic. I don't need a calculator. It's x plus 5, whatever that is. You should be able to put it in English. Now, other words that are really important. Factors. We've done, we didn't really do any factoring. But factors are numbers we multiply. So numbers, I like to use the number symbol because I don't like to write it out. We multiply. We have to understand factor. Numbers we add together, like if I take 2 plus 3, those are called add-ins. There's rules for these things. The rules for factors and add-ins are different. And you have to recognize, Jesse, what it is and how is it different. What are we going to do? Now, this little dot means multiplication. You can also have parentheses, 3 and 2. This is not a group in parentheses. It's just a plain parentheses that says multiply. That's all it does. So, ways to show you have multiplication. This is, to me it's a problem with math, and I think if we had started down in the lower levels with the parentheses, not use the dot, not use the x, everything would be a lot easier. Because now x represents a number. You can do x, y, you can do x times y, you can use x and a parentheses with y. You can put them both in parentheses. It is not a grouping symbol. It just means multiply. So do not use a times x for a times symbol because now I don't even know what that means. Some of you may say, well, I'm just going to do this, x and then y. We're not going to do that either. The only way you can do it is this way. Now on my Inspire calculator, I believe I have to put a little dot in between there because otherwise it takes x, y as a variable. Okay, Taria? So what does this mean? What does this mean, Milani? It means multiply. So that's all it means. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some substitution with order of operations. Okay. Now, this is a lot more abstract now. If you have 3 to the 4th The 3 is the base. That's what you're going to multiply together. The 4 tells you how many times. So that's the exponent. That's what an exponent means. So this means, if we understand what it means, we're not going to make any mistakes. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Some of you may say, I got to use a calculator. I don't agree with you on that, because I know you know your number facts. What's 3 times 3? 9. What's this 3 times 3? 9. What's 9 times 9? 81. Notice how I didn't lose anything. Some of you just like to go do a little chicken scratch and you put a 9 there, and then you go 3. And I don't know, you get lost, I get lost in what you're doing. So don't do that. Write it out. So we can do this x to the n. Now x is a variable and n is kind of a variable. N is usually going to be a number. So what does x squared mean? X squared means x times itself twice. I won't do x to the n. There's n of them. And numbers you multiply together are called factors. So there's 2 factors of x. 2x means not x times x, but x plus x. So if you wanted to add a bunch of numbers up, you would use multiplication. That's the whole reason for it. Math people are lazy. They don't want to write it all out. So that just means I'm going to add up x 2 times. So now there's a couple more examples here. And you need to understand what it means. 4 to the 6. It's written there, but that means 4 times 4. How many times? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm lazy. And that one I would use a calculator on. I don't know what it is. 64 squared, whatever that is. That's when I use a calculator. You know, or you can say it's 16, that's 16, and 16. So that's 16. How many times do I have 16 multiplied? 3. But I don't know what 16 cubed is. I know 16 squared is 256. But times 16 again, I need a calculator or write it out. Now you got to be careful with this 6a to the 4th. So 6a to the 4th. This is order of operations now. Is the 6 to the 4th power or not? What would 6a to the 4th look like? What would that look like? That would be 6a times what? What does the 4th power mean? 6a. How many times am I going to do this? 4. But that's not what that is. This is 6 times a to the 4th. So you're not going to use the 4 on the 6. There's no parentheses there. This is a grouping symbol now. It's saying take whatever's in there, multiply itself 4 times. This is saying just the a is 4 times. A, and a. That's what 6a to the 4th is. Do you see the difference between these two expressions? This one does not have the parentheses. So when you do an exponent, it operates only on that. So if I have 2xy to the 3rd, then this will only operate on, everything in there. So that means 2xy times 2xy. Notice I kept the numbers small, 2xy. What if I have, so you can see the difference here, 2xy to the 3rd. Is that the same thing? Does it look the same? Jesse, does this look the same as this? No, this has got an extra parentheses in it. Order of operations says, what are you going to do? You're going to do exponents, and then you do multiplying. 2 times x, y, and y. Now, I've got to ask you, do you understand the difference there? I'm not getting responses here. Evan, do you see the difference? The 3 only works on the y unless there's a parenthesis. So I could have had 2xy. I could have had it this way. What does that mean? 2, and then what have I, how many xy's do I have? 3. Notice how I use parentheses. Then you can see it a little bit better. And let's simplify that, because we can. How many x's are multiplied together? 3. And we'll do this later this year. How many y's? 3. If I know what it means, I can figure it out. That's the thing. Okay, Mel? Yes? No? Is that okay? That's important to understand the difference between those parentheses and exponents. Okay. Now, I don't like to memorize things, but usually when they say of, it means multiply. You got to be careful because it doesn't always mean. So if you want half of 6 things, you're going to do 1/2 times 6. What's half of 6? You know this. 3. Okay. Notice how I said it. Oh, what's half of 6? You get it that way. When I see it written out, not necessarily do you see it. It's like 3. So there are 3 ways to show half of a number. You can do 0.5 times the number. You could do half of x. And if I multiply those together with rules of fractions, this becomes, what happens when I multiply these two? X times 1 is, this is tough. What's 1 times x? X. What's 2 times 1? 2, and that's it. So these all mean the same thing. My preference is probably these two. Now there's a little extra thing here. Of does not mean multiply when it follows another operation. The sum of difference of 2 numbers. So if it's combined with an operation, like add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So we have operations. Let's talk about those. And operations is what you can do with numbers. You can add them, you can subtract them, you can multiply, and you can divide them. But you know what else you can do? You can do exponents. Does anybody know of another one? Anybody seen a square root? Yes, I'm sure you've seen square roots. That's an operation. And there are other operations you haven't learned about yet. That's enough for now. Okay, so we're going to write some algebraic expressions, and I want to figure out where these guys go. So we're going to put these in here. Plus. So you guys, you're on page, turn the page. Can you put the, why don't you try it for a second? Like plus. Where's plus going to go? It's going to go right over here. You can't do that, but you can on your notes write it. And remember, I let you use your notes. So if you want to do that and want to get a quiz on this, you're going to be translating English words to math words. Okay, Evan? So you're on the right page? Where does times go? Where does times go, Evan? It's a dot, right? This means multiply. Now, divide and divided by is always tricky, but at least I know which operation it goes. Where does it go? Equals? Divide. That one. Do you know what difference is? Subtraction. Okay, oh, well, multiply is pretty obvious. That goes under the times. Product. What about product? No? It's multiplying, a production line. You make multiple copies. Does that help at all? That's where production line comes from. That's where that word came from. Product. It means to multiply. Decreased by. Taria, where's that going to go? Decreased by. Subtraction. You should write these down because you're going to translate. That's all the homework's going to be. Ooh, total. You go to the store and you get a grand total. What are you going to do with it? If you're going to total something, what are you going to do with it? You're going to add it. Not sure what you want with equal. Oh, is. Where's is? Sure, the sum of 2 and 5 is 7. Equals. So when you do, this is what I do. I just translate and using these ideas. In all, yeah, I guess I could go there. Yeah. Quotient. Oh, that's a hard word. Anybody know that one? Dividing. Excellent. We use that all the way through calculus. Quotient. Use that word. So it's a word you have to know throughout math classes. Sum. Plus. Subtract. That's kind of obvious. There's a room there. Minus. Subtraction. Less than. Subtraction. I don't have much room here. A lot of words for subtraction, aren't there? What about, and now the then really messes us up, but we'll talk about that too. Oh, equals. Still not sure that in all. In all, I think is really adding. How many apples do you have in all? More than. Adding. Divided into, oh, that's division. And increased by. Adding. Okay. I'm just going to pull that one out because I think that needs context. I'm going to think of that one. But those are your key words. So that's what you have to know to do these. So when you see these words, if you have it all written down, if you don't have it written down, let's do that right now. And that's why I gave you a handout, so that we can translate things. Now these recordings are real time. So it's just like being in class. So if you have a problem, you want to go back and look at what we did, you want to go back and look at the answers, you can go through the video or you can go right to the smartboard. Okay, so 3 times a number. Well, the first thing is, you better tell me what you want to call the number. What do you want to call the number? I want 3 times any number. What do you want to call it? B? Okay, so we do what they call a let statement. Let B equal the number. I was going to use a smiley face. So what does this mean? 3 times a number. How do we write that? 3.b. Could you also just write 3b? Yes. Now, the then causes a problem, but it's not a problem when you're adding. So we're going to use b through the whole thing. Okay, Brittany? What is 4 more than a number? What does more than mean? You got a list, it means add. So you're going to take your number, and you're going to add 4 to that. Notice I have it in backwards order. There's reasons for that. It doesn't matter, though. Is 4 plus b the same thing? Are these the same? Yeah. The adding doesn't matter, the order in which you add. Okay? Lilani, what's number 3? The product of 6 and a number. You should have these written down. Homework is just as easy as this. Yeah, product. So what are you going to do with the 6? 6. You said times b. The difference of 9 and a number. What does difference mean? Subtract. Which one do you want to go first? Doesn't matter. I could do 9 minus b, or I could do b minus 9. The difference of 9 in a number. Actually, what I would do is probably put it in absolute value, because if I just want to know how they're different, I just want to find out how far apart they are. But I think when we do this, we have to reverse the order, so it has to be b minus 9. I have to read the context of the problem. Twice the difference. No, I think I like my next b better. When I look at the next one. Okay. Twice the difference of a number and 3. Whoa, that's hard. Difference of a number and 3. We're going to start there. So it's b, take away 3. I want twice that. Do I have to use parentheses? So if I take twice the difference of 10 and 3, what's the difference between 10 and 3? 7. I want twice the 7. So I must use parentheses. Otherwise, if I do twice the 10 and then subtract the 3, I don't get the same answer. I got to have the same answer. So that one's hard. Number 6, 10 less than twice a number. Well, if I have $20 and you have 10 less than me, let's do that. 10 less than $20. What's that answer going to be? $10. Did I go 10 minus 20? Or did I go 20 minus 10? Okay, so the than's, less than, switches it around. If I have 10 less $20, that's a different thing. If I have 10 less $20, means I start with 10, and I'm going to spend 20. What's going to happen? You don't need a calculator for this. If I have $10 and I write a check for 20, what's going to happen to me? Negative 10. So it's different. The word than makes the switch. So what I have to do is twice the number first. So what's twice a number? We're still using B. Let's want to do smiley faces. It's twice a number, so it's 2 what? What does twice mean? You get $5 an hour, I get twice as much. How much do I get? 10. What does twice mean? Multiply. Twice means multiply, double. So it's 2 times the number B, and we want 10 less than that. So it's going to be what? 10 less than, subtract 10. Milani, do you get that? Kind of hard. When you do this, you have to do this first. So on my little chart, actually, I should go back and put in multiplying. We should also put in twice, double, triple. All that means multiply. And this is normal, everyday vocabulary. So you may say it's not relevant, but it's very relevant. Okay, notes on than and from. Less than switches the order. 7 less than 10 means you start with the 10 and then you go to 7. Normally I just go in the same order. 6 subtracted from 12 is you start with 12 and then you subtract 6. You have to think. It's not bad when you read it. 6 subtracted from 12. Okay, let's try these. I'll give you a chance to try these. You have it on your sheet? Because this is all we're doing today. And then some stuff with properties. And this is 8 little homework problems. Yeah, that's it. Half a sheet. Not a big deal. So try them. We have 2 teachers in here. Write them down. See what you can do. Maybe somebody can come up and put up there. Now, what do you want to call your number? I got to give it a name. Do you want a smiley face for the number? Okay, let's see. Where is this? This one? So I go up here. I'm going to do that. That equals my number. I should write it out. I'm so lazy. So 2/3 of a number. How would you write that? I don't know. I don't know what the number is. That's what I love about algebra. I'm going to do an infinite cloner if I can find it. There we go. So it's 2/3 times. Okay, so try writing it, and then somebody can come up there. Since I have an infinite cloner, you guys can do this. Okay, Jazzy, did you write them down already? Some need parentheses. Yeah, this is not easy. So 3 times the sum. What does sum mean? Okay, I want you to try these. Use your pencil and do them. Now, oh, you were doing it. Sorry. I thought you were sleeping there. Go on. You can use an X if you want. It doesn't matter to me. And some of you, I don't have your quizzes back. I need them back. Because right now you don't have a score. Remember, I didn't write them down. So that's the other half of today, so finish that up. Okay, Darius, what do you got for number 2? You don't even have number 1 done. Oh, yeah, you do. Number 2, how do you do that? 3 times the sum. Yeah, that one. I need both of them back, actually. Thank you. Yeah, this was the first one that used the calculator, and then there was, I got your other one. So 3 times the sum of a number. You got to do this part first. What does sum mean? So I'm going to get adding my number, and we're going to add 1. Do I need parentheses? I want 3 times that number. Well, no, I don't want 3 times the number. I want 3 times the sum of a number. So what if I say the sum of 2 and 1? I want 3 times that. What's the sum of 2 and 1? 3, which gives you 3 times 3 is 9. If I just do 3 times the 2, that gives me 6, and 1 more gives me 7. It doesn't get me big enough. So you have to use a parentheses and put what out in front then? 3. Sum is the result of adding. It's a parentheses. So sum is a parentheses. So 3, what about the next one? Difference. What's the difference mean? Oh, you guys say it all the time. What's the difference? Subtract. So you need to try. Remember? We can't say, we're not going to say I can't. We're going to say I will try. Yeah, try it.
So, like, how do I start from?
So 3, and then the minute you see the word sum, you're going to have to put a parentheses in here. So I need a parentheses there. So it's 3 times the number plus 1. Number can be anything you want it to be. So you have to add first. So sum is parentheses, you must add first. Yeah, this is not easy. You have to think. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted you to think with the integers. How about the difference? Wes, did you figure out the difference of a number and 7? Did you try that one? Difference. What does difference mean? Yeah. So, I would use absolute value, but we're not there. So it's the number, and then it's what? Minus 7. That's it. That's it. Smiley face minus 7. That's all you have to do. But the problem is when you have words like sum and difference, if I could say that the difference of a number and 7 times 2, then I have to use a parentheses. Product of a number and 50, Lalani. Then don't sit there. Then don't sit there. What does product mean? Go back and look it up. Well, if you got a note card here. Product, right there it is. I gotta find myself. Okay, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna do what with the numbers? Yeah. Oops. Okay. Multiply that number times 50. I can have it that way, or I can have it 50, and then I have 50 smiley faces, right? There it is. Either way is correct. Uh-oh, now number 5 is hard. Twice the difference of a number and 20. Difference, Wesley, is just like sum. You have to do this first. You have to find the difference between the number and 20, and then you multiply by what? What does twice mean? Multiply by 2. Trudy, do you want to try and write it up? Who wants to try it? Doesn't matter. You have to use parentheses. So what's the difference? What's the difference between the number and 20? What do you have to do? Take the number and subtract 20. And then, Wesley, what do you have to do now? I want twice. You have to have parentheses. I know I'm going to be missing that from a number of you. But it is. It's reading. What's this one? 9 more than, and than actually makes you switch the order. Oh, it won't matter because it's adding. Twice a number. What does that mean? Rhea? Number 6. A lot easier if you pay attention and get involved. Whoops. Okay, so she wants a smiley face, and then you're going to do what? Twice the number. So what are you going to do? What does twice mean? How many smiley faces? 2, and you want 9 more than that, so it's what? More than, look at your chart. More than is right here, adding. Right here, more than. Why did I switch the order? Because then switches the order. Okay. So it's what? It's plus 9. Can I do it the other way around? Can I do 9 plus 2 smiley faces? Girls, can I do that? Yeah. I'm going to take twice my number and add 9. That's what more than means. Now, it doesn't matter for adding, but it does for subtracting. So 7, 30 less than half a number. Guess what you have to do first? Is it 30 minus? Wesley, I think you need to move back a seat. Yes, if you're going to keep touching her. Okay, guys, I'm waiting. Okay, so what about this one? Do I have to do the 30 minus, or do I have to do half a number first? It's the than. Remember what happens with than? It switches the order. So I have to do half the number first. The 30 is subtracted from. So what's half a number? It's half. What's my number? Gotta find it. It's half my number, and then what are you going to do? It's 30 less than that. You make $30 less than half of what I make. I show what I make first, and then what? What do you do with the 30? Less than is subtract. The than switches the order, because the order doesn't work. Ooh, we're going to make a big jump here. 17 is subtracted from 4 times a number. What has to happen first? You're going to do 17 minus, or you're going to do 4 times the number first? It's subtracted. Now, you have to think. Don't look at the words and say, oh, this is math class. 17 is subtracted from this. Is it 17 minus or something minus 17? No, it's subtracted from. I'm going to take it away from you. So I got to do 4 times the number. Jazzy, what's that going to be? 4 times the number. Whoops. 4 times the number. Except I lost my 4 in the process. And then what am I going to do with the 17? Lilani, what am I going to do with the 17? Subtract 17. Now, the next one is kind of hard. And you guys, we have to get these right. I don't have very many practice problems. I have 8. They don't take very long to do. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw a picture. Let's see, where are the pictures? Rectangle. There's the rectangle. There. Now, it says find the area of the rectangle with sides x and x minus 3. So if this is x, then this side is x minus 3. Wes, do you remember how to find area? You guys, it's your grade. Area is length times width. Yep. So you're going to multiply these together. Do I need parentheses? Is that right? Is that right? Did I multiply the side? Is the side just x? This one's x. This is x minus 3. What do I have to have here? What's wrong without it? You guys. X times x minus 3. You get lost with this, you're going to be lost the rest of the year. Do I have to have parentheses there? Yes. because it's this length times the width. The width isn't just x. It's x minus 3. Remember, x is a number. So what if this was 10? Then this would be 10 minus 3, or how big is 10 minus 3? 7. How big is 10 minus 3? It's 7. What's the area if it's 7 and 10? What's the area if it's 7 and 10 then? No, what do? You multiply them. It's 7 times 10, which is 70. So what happens if I do this wrong? What if I say the area is equal to x times x minus 3? Well, x was 10 times 10 minus 3. Order of operations says I do what? 10 times 10 is not what I want, but it's 100. 100 take away 3, how much is that? 97. Not the same answer. Math is nice, because math tells you what to do. I didn't get the same answer, so one has to be wrong. And since you know it's going to be it's 10 take away 3, you have to do the takeaway first before you multiply. It's a grouping symbol. And I think that, some properties. I don't expect you to know the properties, okay? I do expect you to know the concept. Additive identity property means if you add 0 to any number, you get the identical number back again. So if I take 3 plus 0, I'm going to get 3. No, we got his answer there. Multiplicative property identity means if you multiply by 1, I get the identical number back again. So 6 times 1 keeps me at 6. Very special properties. The additive element is 0 and the multiplicative one is 1. But you won't have to worry about it. Multiplicative inverse property is just reciprocals. I like reciprocal better. So if you take a number, let's take a different number. If I take 1/2 and I multiply by its reciprocal, I get 1, or its multiplicative inverse. Commutative property of addition and multiplication means that I can add numbers, change the order around, and still get the right answer. Okay, Leilani? So I'm going to use that word once in a while. So all you need to know is that commutative property says I can change the order. Associative property is who's going to associate with whom today. So Wes and Leilani are going to associate, not Taria, but tomorrow, Taria and Leilani, and not Wes. It's who you associate with. That doesn't mean you're not all friends still. You still are. It's who you're going to hang out with today. And multiplying by 0 always gives you 0. Any number by 0. Okay, so your homework is to try this. It's not homework, your classwork, really. And then to make corrections. We're going to go on tomorrow into substituting numbers in. It gets quite a bit harder. Now, you're going to try to write these up. I'm going to see how much you know about this. Yes, you can use whatever letter you want. I want you to use W for Wesley. Some of these are easy, some of these are not easy. So I'm going to let you try them, and then you can turn them in, and I'll grade them. Not grade them, but I'll correct them and see what we need to go back and look at. Everybody get a little half sheet? If I get a shoe.